WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Receive $25 in WagerBucks after your first initial purchase. All you have to do is sign up, make your purchase, and you'll get $25 in credit.
All right, guys, let's do this thing. Here it is, a Tuesday now, $2 Tuesday, as a matter of fact, and I can't believe it, February the 2nd. Welcome in. It is the College Basketball Tip-Off Show. It is powered by WagerTalk.com. Loaded card here tonight. Great time of year in college basketball. We got 4 games we are going to break down for you. We're going to have our best bets, which we'll get to in a moment, continue to dominate, as well as our good friends at the Gold Sheet. But get ready. It is Baylor taking on Texas. We're going to go there. We're going to go Indiana, Illinois. We're going to talk some USC, Stanford, and we're going to talk Purdue taking on Maryland. So the big boys here tonight getting ready to do some damage, and we're going to do our very best to point you in the right way, and nobody better to do that. Bring them in. The fellas here. What a crew we got today. Tony Mejia back in action, ready to rock and roll. Rob Vino is here with us. And, of course, my neighbor downstairs, always complaining the TV's too damn loud. That is Ralph Mike. That's correct. Ralph Michaels. Let's show them the Twitter handles, guys. This is where you can get them. At Mejia Dinero on Twitter, as well as at Rob Vino Sports. And, of course, Ralph Michaels at Cal Sports LV. Great card here today, guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. Just a quick reminder as well now, our best bets here on the show continuing to rock and roll. 22-1 is what we are rolling with right now. So it's been a hell of a streak. And it also started, I mean, look at this board here. My word, 23-1 rather, is what we have been on the show. And it all started with a 5-0 day a little over a week ago, I believe, with our good friend Tony Mejia being here also, and he joins us here today. So, Tony, you just as a part of this run as anybody, my friend. So, has it been since the last time we spoke to you? And what do you got going on at Wager Talk right now?
Well, I'm really proud of you guys. I think I was 3-1 of that initial run, so I was responsible for the only loss for a while with Ohio State not covering against Penn State, and then my plays from the Gold Sheet were kind of in there in my first best bet. So I definitely feel a part of it, and hopefully we can keep the magic going. I've been really solid on totals. I think that the run is 8-1, 7-1, something like that. Hit both of my 5% plays in college over the weekend, but sides have really been an issue. So I really need to get that under control and make it a huge February. But going okay so far in the college game.
All right, good stuff. We're glad to have you back. And look at Vino, man. He's signing checks there and everything. He's ready to go. He's giving the money. What are you writing there, Vino? What's going on, my man? How you been, and what do you got going on tonight?
Yeah, it's been good, Joe. Actually, at Wager Talk today, I am the $2 handicapper. $2 Tuesday. Play was up earlier this morning. Comes from NBA action, where it's been really, really good for me over the course of the last season plus right now. College hoops, I guess I have to be specific. Tony was, pointing towards his better record with totals, and I'm the same way. Especially best bet totals have been the area where 4% totals have been really, really good so far this year, going back to last year, almost 67% right now, 39-20. So that's been the profitable end. That's where we'll look to focus, and we'll look to keep this string going. I mean, for a guy who shows up once a week, and last Tuesday, I believe we were undefeated, but as a guy who shows up once a week, a little bit of pressure to have a best bet winner on this show now, the way these guys have been rolling.
Oh, stop, Rob. No pressure. If you don't win, you're never coming back. Ralph Michaels, welcome in, my friend. And we got a very special opportunity for you guys to be able to hop on with Ralph tonight. We'll give you that in just a minute, my man. But not only is the show on a roll here, Ralph, you as well, my friend. Congratulations. What's happening at Wager Talk right now?
Well, number one, thank you to everyone that was part of Dave Koken's $9 first NHL 5% play yesterday. They had a winner. If you think $9 was a value playing for a play, Rob sort of undercuts himself. His last 41 NBA plays, he's 27-14, 66%. So $2, make sure you get his play. I do have a coupon where you can get all three of my college plays for $10. We'll mention that in a bit. A 3-in-1 day again, Joe, yesterday, 11-3 weekend. And for those that want to know, yes, I did use Mississippi Valley State, the number 357 team, not only as a best bet here, but an actual client play. So I had to hold my nose on that one, because if you use the worst team and they lose, you do get some grief. They had a nice cover, though. So happy we got it done with them.
Couldn't believe the words were coming out of your mouth, Ralph, but congratulations, man. It came to fruition. It was awesome. We're going to get to, of course, one of the opening games here tonight, Baylor, Texas, in just a minute, guys. Let's take a look at some of those top performers from last night, like we do each and every show. And I guess Drake was like, oh, you thought you were going to beat us, huh? You thought it was close? Yeah, not anymore. So Drake with a big night last night. KJ Williams at Murray State as well. And some of the covers yesterday, biggest and least covers. The thing that sticks out to me, Ralph, we talked about the game on the show, that Miami team who was literally taking people off the streets and throwing uniforms on them because they didn't have enough. Duke goes in there and lays a giant egg. And, of course, Duke upsets them by 11, so missed the cover by 13. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's Miami and Indiana are the two teams that can play like crap or all of a sudden play great. So you mentioned that Drake team that ended up off the overtime game the day before. They win by 35. I think every one of us here on the panel have February 13th and 14th circled when Drake meets Loyola Chicago.
Yes, absolutely. Got to be there. And then, of course, some of the biggest totals from 24 hours ago, guys. We'll take a look at that. Sacramento State, what? Over by 32? Crazy. And that Memphis Central Florida game, Tony Mejia, we were talking just before the show started there. That didn't see an over by 30.5 there in that game yesterday. But Memphis really took it to them.
Yeah, Memphis destroyed the UCF defense in the first half. Matt Josephs actually DM'd me and said, well, you're the UCF guy. What do you think? And I said, they've been flat on the road, but Memphis floats their boat. So I think they'll be engaged, ready to play. Darius Perry came back, and he's kind of the spark plug offensively, the Louisville transfer. So I thought they'd have energy, but early on, Memphis just blitzed them. As Ralph was saying pre-show, I think Memphis is indeed the one team that could possibly push Houston on their best day.
Yeah. No,
hey, Joe, I do want to mention, that Citadel team, people know Citadel and look at them and know they're number 2 in tempo. But everyone here talks about it often. The team that can dictate tempo, Citadel was on the road against Western Carolina, a team that plays much slower than Citadel, who is the number 2 tempo team. So when you have those very high tempo teams, there is often great value playing unders when they're on the road against a slower paced team that can slow them down.
Good point there, Ralph. And I get anybody raise your hand. Anybody really surprised with the under at Texas Tech? Okay, no, good. All right, let's go ready to a Big 12 here, because I don't think anybody was shocked that Texas Tech played to an under. But let's take a look at this Big 12 matchup tonight. Game number 1 here, guys, and I'm fairly certain basketball fans from around the world, for that matter, will be glued tonight to this one, as Baylor opened up as a 6-point favorite, heading to Austin, take on the Longhorns. Total opens up at around that 144.5 mark. And Tony Mejia, I'm coming to you first here, my man. Texas has a way sometimes, Shaka Smart has a way of sometimes showing up in games like this, especially as home, as an underdog. I don't know. Do you trust this Texas Longhorn team right now to be able to pull the upset? If not, at least keep it close enough to cover.
I do trust this Texas Longhorn team, but you said right now, and that would be a negative. No way do I trust this Texas team right now. Look, Shaka Smart's coming off a bout with COVID. He said it was not pleasant. He said now he understands why you have to be very cautious. Even wondered out loud if they should be playing, but the fact that they are playing, he's going to go for it. But the Longhorns had 8 scholarship players in the loss to Oklahoma. And they're divulging now that all those guys were only able to practice once just before the game. At one point in January, they had 2 guys available on the entire team. And now you're going to come off a little bit of a pause, get your coach back, and you're facing one of the best teams in the country. That's really tough. So, from that standpoint, Baylor should come in here and not let Texas hang around. It's a really good test for the Bears' killer instinct because they should be able to win this game by double digits if they play to their capacity.
Yeah, Rob, it's interesting. Baylor certainly has faced a few other Big 12 teams on the road, and the thing that comes to mind is turnovers. They forced over 20 to Tech. They forced over 20 to Oklahoma State. They did it to TCU. On the road, they seem to clamp down and make it very difficult to get points off of them. How do you see this working out tonight?
Well, they showed those defensive clamps again on Saturday, right, in that Big 12 SEC challenge where much has been made of Sharif Cooper and Auburn since he's become part of that lineup. And I think Baylor defensively took it upon themselves to let the nation know that their defense is better than one man. And they held Auburn in that game to 41% shooting. Auburn's, extreme tempo slowed down by Baylor. Baylor wins that game pretty comfortably. And now they get Texas here. Texas will be at full strength for this game. And Courtney Ramey back, the best three-point shooter on the team. Jericho Sims back. But Tony mentioned, this layoff is difficult for Texas in this spot. With the interior edge that they have in size, it wouldn't surprise me, guys, as we hit February. A lot of these conference games start to slow down, become grinded out battles. I think Baylor had a little bit of an up and down with Auburn the other day. They wouldn't mind getting into a more of a half court here with Texas where they could put their defense to work and sort of, put the clamps on Texas guards. They're just too good in all facets. When push comes to shove, they make shots that count. I just think in this game that if you get off in the first half to, let's say, a 27-24 first half, which I think is extremely possible here, then looking at 144.5 for a total just to me seems very, very high. Not that you can't score 83 in the second half in college basketball, but against this Baylor defense, I just don't see opponents getting there. So for me, I think unders the way I would lean in this game for sure. Can't disagree with Tony on the Baylor side, but I think I'd prefer under.
They don't live and die by the three, too, there, Ralph, this Baylor team. They got great two-way players. They play defense. They can beat you inside the paint as well as they can from the outside. So what chance does Texas have in your mind to be able to win this game or cover it for that matter?
Well, Joe, they may not count on the three, but they're the number one team in the country shooting the 3 points. So that's not bad when you fall back to being the best team in the country. Sims and Ramey both would not have played if they played that Kentucky game. So, the rest was probably, Baylor with the extra game. Rob, I was with you leaning the under, but you look at these two teams' metrics this year, and they are both playing fast-paced on offense. The reason is they get a lot of turnovers, they force turnovers, and they get quick buckets. But Baylor has now gone over 4 straight games. Texas has gone 6-1 to the over the last 7 games. Baylor's offensive length of possession, number 51 in the country, Texas 62. So that does concern me. Texas has lost 3 games this year. What does those games have in common with this? Well, all 3 games were at home, and all 3 games were against ranked opponents: Villanova, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma. I like Baylor here in the first half. Texas being very rusty, not having practice. A couple kids have been out. We know Baylor, I agree with Rob, it's going to be an extremely, I think, low-scoring first half. I think they may open it up where I'm not going to give an opinion on the under. But I do like Baylor early, first half, Bears.
First half, Bears. All right, good stuff there, guys. We're going to get to this Illinois-Indiana game here in just a minute. But Ralph had mentioned just a couple of minutes ago how he's got an opportunity for you guys to hop on and partner with him tonight. In fact, 3 plays up at WagerTalk.com, and all you have to do is use the code, and this is really good, RM15, guys. RM15. You get all three of Ralph's plays tonight, just $10 right now at WagerTalk.com. Remember that at checkout. That code is RM15 at WagerTalk.com. All right, guys, Big Ten game here tonight. Illinois taking on Indiana. Now, Illinois, great win Friday night, taking down Iowa, hard fought, great win. Indiana, it's been a little while. They've had an interesting quirk here with the scheduling, Ralph, with this Indiana having off. Total 142.5. Illinois opens up as a 3.5-point favorite here. Like you said, Indiana, it's really Jekyll and Hyde. Who's going to show up tonight, in your opinion, in this Indiana game?
Well, I mean, Franklin's questionable. He's made 13 starts. Galloway is downgraded out. He had 7 starts. He's missed the last 2 games. And I just don't, Indiana has been the knife in my vein on the side of my neck. I think I'm 0-3 with them. I just cannot get them right. I play on them, they get whipped. I play against them, and they pull this huge upset. So basically what I'm telling you guys is anything that I say here on forward, just do the opposite. I'm going to lean Illinois. I think Illinois off that Iowa win gives them the confidence. I think their defense is now starting to gel. I think Indiana, they're off a loss to Rutgers, but Indiana is a team that in the entire season, they have not won more than 2 games in a row. They have not lost more than 2 games in a row. So since they haven't lost 2 in a row, they still have the possibility to lose. And then that means they have Iowa on deck. So then they'll upset Iowa, and I'll probably be on Iowa that week. So lean Illinois for me, so you guys know what to do.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, Tony, because they were slated, I believe, to take Michigan on this weekend. But, of course, those games are put on hold right now with the COVID issues in Michigan. So they've kind of had this game sitting out there waiting for this in Indiana. How do you think it works out for them tonight?
I mean, it might work out to have this break. The last time they had a layoff of over a week, they upset Iowa. So that's good, right?
Yep.
But if Armand Franklin can play, I give him a puncher's chance, because he had a fantastic game. The first installment of this pairing, December 26th, he shot 5 of 6 from 3-point range. Really kept the Hoosiers in the game. So if he's out, it's worth knowing that the rest of the team shot roughly 30% against Illinois, and they're going to try to slow things down in this game. And that sometimes can work against the Illini. You're going to really need Trace Jackson-Davis to try to be explosive inside, maybe get Kofi Coburn in foul trouble, get him out of the game. It was a big deal that Illinois pulled away with a 14-0 run the first time these teams met, because it shows you that Indiana is prone to lulls. I think that's been their Achilles heel all season. So if the Illini can really zero in on the defensive end, which they've done multiple times this season, they should go ahead and get this sweep. So I'm probably not going to touch it, but if I do, it'll probably be with the Illini.
Rob, it's one of those situations where it's a crossroads for Illinois. Do they ride that momentum from the win against Iowa into Bloomington, or is it a letdown spot in your eyes, what we're going to see from this Illinois team tonight?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it would be a letdown spot, Joe, but I'm pretty sure that Indiana will be fired up. As Tony mentioned, they lose 69-60 the first time around. Franklin puts up 23 points. So, again, the injury list comes into play here. Whether he's in the lineup or out of the lineup probably makes a huge difference. Couple of conflicting totals trends in this game. Illinois 6-1 to the under in their last 7. Indiana 4-1 to the over at home in Big Ten play. So I think at that point you have to figure which team would be able to impose its will on the other. I think the under is more apt to happen here. From the Illinois side, like Tony said, they tend to want to slow the game down. And again, if they're without Franklin, if Indiana is without Franklin, it really does reduce the number of options that they have on the scoring end here. Even if they try to pick up pace, I'm not so sure that they can maintain it throughout 40 minutes. So again, a conference game with some meaning. The first time around, these teams scored 129 combined. Very, very slight lean here towards under, Joe. I think under 142.5, probably the way to go. Illinois is off of that higher scoring game with Iowa last Friday night, I think it was. But even that game wasn't under, right? I think it closed at 162 and it wound up 155 with Iowa. I don't see this game getting anywhere near that. I would say under 142.5.
Under 142.5. All right, like that, guys. And we're going to keep it in the Big Ten here. One more game on tap we're going to talk about for you. We will get to the Southern Cal Stanford game as well here in just a minute. But let's take a look at this Purdue-Maryland game tonight here as Purdue opens up as a ever so slight favorite in it. Total is 134.5. And I am starting to see, well, it's maybe a little bit more Maryland money coming in at this particular point than what first anticipated. So, Rob, let me come back to you here with this Purdue team who, boy, oh boy, one of the hottest teams in the country, right? Seems to have put it together at the right time. How much do you trust Maryland in this spot?
Well, I think you could trust Maryland, Joe. Again, it's probably a situational spot for me with Maryland coming off of a loss, Purdue coming off of that nice win against Minnesota, where it sounded to me like Richard Pitino had a lot of excuses more than reasons why his team didn't perform well in that game. But, there's an old saying that once this time of year comes, freshmen are no longer freshmen. And, it does bother me somewhat that as we get into February here in conference play, Purdue is taking 3 freshmen in the starting 5 on the road. That's prone to have some ups and downs with it, especially if Maryland can, apply some defensive clamps here to this team. Both teams are extremely slow paced. But for me, I think it's more of a situational play than a fundamental play. If I just line up the talent on both sides here, I think Purdue's the better side. But again, I'm going to probably look against the Purdue freshman here. Maryland off the Wisconsin loss. There's probably enough firepower in that backcourt to get it done here. Mark Turgeon, very good defensive-minded coach. So these are all very, very tough games. But for me here, it would be a situational play on Maryland.
Situational on Maryland. And Ralph, it hasn't been great for the Boilermakers in College Park. 1-3, I think, the last couple of times that they've had to travel there. What do you think of this Purdue team? And they come into this game on the road here. How much do you trust Purdue?
Well, they've won 5 of their last 6. They are now in the AP top 25 for the first time. A lot of times that's a negative for a team that isn't usually in the top 25. So I don't count Purdue as, if you have a CUSA or a lower division team that all of a sudden pops into the top 25, that's a negative that I often look to play against. When you're in the Big Ten, it's a war every night. After you win a few games, you're going to be there. Rob, you mentioned the 3 freshmen. Well, part of the reason there's 3 freshmen is because Stefanovic is still out. So he started the last 7 games prior to the 2 he's missed. This third, he either plays shooting guard or small forward. That has put Brandon Newman in the starting lineup. So, they would have been a better off team, again, without an injury, but injuries are part of the game. With those freshmen, I think Purdue slows it down. I think Matt Painter goes slow ball. We saw him go to Ohio State. That score was 67-65. The Indiana game on the road, they scored 81 because Indiana just wasn't playing defense. And Michigan State, they had 55. Maryland, again, a very slow-paced team this year. I do like the under. I think it's a team where Purdue tries to protect their pace. Maryland is coming off 2 losses in the last 3 games with only that win against Minnesota. Maryland, the last 3 games, has shot 41, 42, and 36%. Maryland's defense the last couple games against Minnesota and Wisconsin, 30.4% and 39% under for me.
Tony, it's 323rd in the nation for possessions per game from Maryland, 303 for. There are no rush here at any point to up-tempo this at all. So how are you approaching this game tonight?
Well, my numbers have it Purdue 66, Maryland 63. So you add those up, that's 129. I believe this total opened at 134.5. I haven't seen which way it's gone. So I'm definitely in agreement that this looks like an underplay. Purdue had trouble getting into Baltimore. They had a plane diverted. They didn't get into Thurgood Marshall Airport until midnight. Now, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. That's really a guessing game. But with a bunch of kids, maybe they're spooked and come out lethargic early. I think Maryland is going to be in there committed to defend on their home floor. I like the way that they can, kind of switch everything, potentially blitz, Zach Edey inside. There are a lot of freshmen, but Purdue has talented freshmen. Newman was mentioned, and the kid that won the game for them the other day is playing for Stefanovic, Jaden Ivey. He looks like the real deal. So I think Purdue can make plays to win down the stretch on the road. I wouldn't bank on it, so I'm not going to touch that side play, especially laying points. I think Maryland can steal the game, but I think the safest play is the under.
Yep, holding strong at 134.5, guys, as of right now in that Purdue-Maryland game. All right, we got one more we're going to touch base on. Of course, that's going to be in the Pac-12. We're going to talk Southern Cal, USC taking on Stanford in just a minute. But here's a quick reminder, guys, that you got Rob Vino here on the panel today. He is the $2 handicapper at WagerTalk.com. His best bet up and available right now in the NBA. Just get ready for this. $2. That's right. All you got to do is head over to WagerTalk.com, go to Rob Vino's page, and grab the $2 play. And heck, while you're there, no wasted trips. Go ahead and grab Ralph's 3-pack right now, the plays that he's got up, and you can do so for $10 just using the code RM15 at checkout there. And of course, Tony Mejia's page also ready to go, rock and roll. Plenty of plays for you guys to be able to choose from there as well. Great opportunity, all three of these gentlemen, to make it a profitable night. Head over to WagerTalk.com today. All right, guys, let's take a look here before we get to our best bets here. Final game, we'll cover USC taking on Stanford, who is finally going home. It's hard to believe, but they have not played a game. They had to relocate because of the COVID restrictions in Santa Clara here. And Tony Mejia, I'm going to come back to you. They were 5-0 in that situation where they had to play away from home. Now they are able to come back. They've lost 3 names in this program, obviously, including Williams, Davis, the big freshman there. But they've managed to be competitive the last 3 games. They've lost 3 of their best players. They've won 2 out of their last 3, taking on a USC team here tonight. How much do you trust this Stanford team to keep it rolling without 3 of their best players?
Well, if you've gone against them, you've probably lost of late, simply because they've been very resilient. Oscar De Silva is leading the way. Zaire Williams is one of the smoothest prospects you'll see. Just a really nice small forward. He's going to have a tremendous future, but I don't think he's going to play tonight. They haven't disclosed the reason why he's missing all these games. And considering that he's a lottery lock, we may not see him the rest of the way if he's got a good reason to sit out. Dejon Davis and Bryce Willis both have knee issues that have kept them out. They're considered questionable. We might see one of them, probably not both. So out of the 3 guys that are key players for Stanford to have in there against USC, maybe one of those guys suits up. Now, it won't matter if they play as well as they did at Arizona and for stretches at Arizona State. We'll see how they take to being back at Maples Pavilion. Certainly good to have that dancing tree around. When you were saying finally home, I thought Sarah McLachlan was going to start playing behind you. I'm coming home now. Because it'll be nice to see familiar surroundings. I'm sure, even if they don't have any fans in attendance except for that tree. So
playing their games in Santa Cruz. Wow.
Here's one thing for USC backers to be wary of. Although the Trojans are 4-1, I believe in true road games, they're shooting 65% on free throws for the entire year. That's 312th in the country. You cannot, consistently cover games if you can't come through at the charity stripe down the stretch. And that's really a big issue for a USC team that sometimes plays down to its level of competition.
Good point there. But Ralph, I mean, how long we talked about this team, this Stanford team, a couple of weeks ago here on the show, saying we're not sure what's going to happen. When you lose that much talent around a team, is this going to galvanize them? Is it not? Well, it worked for the first couple of games. I mean, heck, if it wasn't for a terrible goaltending call at the end of that Arizona State game, we could be talking a 3-0 Stanford team without 3 of their best. How do you see this working out tonight?
Yeah, well, Dave and I have the same philosophy, and we talked about it with Stanford last week. I mean, the rumors are Zaire Williams left school, he's left the program. But, I mean, it's amazing that there's still no story on what's happened to him. No reporters run into him or looked for him. So I'm amazed. So, you lose Utah, you lose Colorado, and all of a sudden you're down 3 players. And what do? You galvanize and you boost your team efforts. You beat Arizona and you beat UCLA. But then you lose that close game to Arizona State. You start feeling defeated. Then you're now playing in a new place. And while, yes, you could say, hey, Maples Pavilion is their home, they have not played or practiced there. I think they actually had more of an advantage playing in Santa Cruz because they were practicing and playing there. And all these Pac-12 teams had never seen the venue. They walk into this venue. It's the first time they're ever playing or playing a game there. So now you go back. De Silva's been a stud. But, of course, on the USC side, you have the height to win the rebound battle. You got the Mobley brothers to slow him down. I like USC in this matchup.
All right, USC there, and Rob, both of these teams have been very profitable to the over here recently. So that number opened up right around that 140 mark. How do you think this game is going to play out here tonight?
Yeah, I think it's difficult for Stanford, right? It's a team that wants to push pace, but they're so shorthanded, right? As we speak right now, they only have really a 6-man rotation. If DeJohn Davis comes back, that would really help. Number one, he's a good accelerator for their tempo. And number two, it would lengthen them out to 7 guys. But you're talking about playing against a USC team that had 9 guys in double-digit minutes in their last game. So they can grind you down. And for USC, while they haven't been a great shooting team, and of course, everybody, you say USC and automatically Evan Mobley's name comes up, but they haven't been that good of a shooting team. What's been so great for Andy Enfeld's squad is that defense. 10 Pac-12 games this year, 9 opponents held to 41% or less. They just don't give up anything as far as shooting percentage is concerned to the opponent. So if you're Stanford, you really don't want to come down and set up against USC's half-court defense. You want to be able to push pace. The problem is you're limited in the amount of guys you have. Any sign of foul trouble for Stanford, and that rotation goes down 1 more player. So I think it's difficult. Yes, they've won 2 out of 3 shorthanded. Yes, they defeated UCLA and Arizona. But unless DeJohn Davis is in this game, I don't think Stanford wins this one. USC just too deep, too good on the defensive end, and I don't think Stanford will be able to get the pace where they want it to be for enough of the game. I mean, you can get it in a 4 or 5 minute spurt, but I don't think they can get it long enough here, considering the restrictions they have depth-wise. So I would look at USC in this game.
All right, USC for Rob Vino. So that means, guys, it is time for our best bet section. That's right, a crazy right now. See if we can put that up there, because it's, when you look at it, it's kind of crazy. 23-1 run on the best bets here on the show. Started all the way back, last week, I think. As you can see there on the 26th of January, we had Tony Mejia, we had Rob Vino, we had Ralph Mike, we had everybody here, guys. That's kind of what kicked it off there as a 5-0 streak, and let's see if we can continue it, including with our friends from the Gold Sheet, who have their best bet of the day ready to rock and roll. And if we take a look at what they have today, another game that I'm going to be very interested in watching here, and it is the Auburn Tigers. Ralph, that seems to be where they're looking in this one, taking on Georgia. They're going Auburn, and if I'm looking at the number right now, it's 8.5 and 9 for Auburn here, Ralph.
Well, we're talking. We've talked about some powerful freshmen, and if you haven't watched him play in Auburn, he's a good one at point guard. So he's certainly worth tuning in. I am going to take the blame, Joe, on the Gold Sheet play of the day losing yesterday. I really wasn't on Twitter. I was running errands all day, and then late at night I go on and I have all these tweets. Where the hell's the Gold Sheet play of the day? So, okay, guys, if it's not on my Twitter, just come to this page and look at the link. So I didn't post it, so therefore it lost. So the gaming gods got back at me. So Gold Sheet play of the day is on me yesterday. It is on Auburn today. I will retweet that entire write-up so you can read it. at Cal Sports LV right after the show.
So somewhere Coach K's going, oh, that's why. Oh, Ralph, you didn't put the damn play up. What's wrong with you? All right, let's go. Tony Mejia, my friend, let's do this all over again. Let's get the ball rolling. Talk to us about a best bet tonight. Where are you looking?
I'm looking in the Big East, Joe, with Marquette and Butler. Both of these teams are really struggling. Loser falls to 4-8 in league play, which is essentially dead as a doornail. Next to last behind Georgetown and DePaul. So you're done here if you lose. And Marquette actually showed a pulse over the weekend against St. John's. They lost at home, but they nearly pulled out a comeback down the stretch. And they're just far more talented than this particular Butler squad. The Bulldogs shot 5 of 25 from three-point range at Hinkle Fieldhouse in a blowout loss to Xavier over the weekend. Leading scorers Aaron Thompson and Jair Bolden shot a combined 15 for 45. That's 33% last week. If you're riding the hot hand, you can't ride them. And I think Marquette is just a little too deep for them. The line started at 4.5, and it's down to 3.5. You might be able to get some threes. So I believe that the strategy here is get the lowest number and root on Marquette. Marquette's my best bet to cover over Butler.
All right, love it. Looking to get back in the W column there for Marquette. Love that. Rob Vino, my friend. Also, guys, just a reminder, Rob Vino, $2 handicapper at WagerTalk.com. His best bet right now in the NBA is up and ready to rock and roll for $2. All you got to do is head over to Rob Vino's page and grab that right now. And, of course, the NBA tip-off show coming your way here in just about 20 minutes or so. But, Rob, where you going tonight? College hoops. What's your best bet for us?
Yeah, I always pick one from the games that we discuss on the show, Joe. So I'm going to go back to where we started with the Big 12 Baylor Texas matchup, and I'm going to play under 144.5 as the best bet here. Understand the metrics of this and that the tempo has been a little bit higher for both of these teams. But when you break down Baylor's 8 Big 12 games so far this season, 4 are easily under this number of 144.5. 2 of them hit 146 and 147, barely over this number. One was against Oklahoma State, the other against Kansas. And then the 2 that really sailed over the total were against a helpless Kansas State team that couldn't stop Baylor from doing whatever they wanted as far as scoreboard production is concerned. So I think this game at this price, I think there's some value in it. And the good matchup here for the total is the fact that Texas is number 14 in the nation in three-point defense. Baylor, as Ralph said, number 1 in the land shooting the threes. But Texas 14 at defending them. So maybe we get a little stalemate there. Again, I think you get a slow first half. Hopefully I'm right in that area. If we do get something in that 27-24 vicinity, I just don't see Texas being able to score enough second half to get this thing up and over. So give me 144.5 under the total here, Baylor, Texas.
Love that. All right, Ralph Michaels heading your way. And just a reminder, guys, right now, Ralph, 3-pack of games tonight, college hoops, all yours for just $10. All you have to do is head over to Ralph's page at WagerTalk.com and use the code RM15. That's RM15. That will go ahead and get you his 3-pack of plays for just $10. And Ralph, what is it, number 300 and what? Why don't you just fill it in for us, my friend? It's like a mad whip. Where are you going?
Joe, I have first I have something to say for Tony. I was reading the Butler paper today, and for those that are tuning in to watch Tony's best bet on Marquette and Butler, Lavelle Edwards, the Butler head coach, Bo Hodges, the East Tennessee transfer, finally became eligible last game. Now, they still lost against Xavier, and he played 24 minutes. But Jordan thinks he's going to be a huge boost to that Butler squad. So keep an eye on him and how he plays today and see if Butler does get some improvement. Rob, I wanted to ask you one thing. You keep mentioning 27-24. Why not just use under first half as the best bet?
Ooh.
Yeah, you certainly could. I mean, if the game goes the way I think, you certainly could. Let me just
I don't want to change your best bet, Ron, but you said that multiple times as we were talking.
At some point, I want to roll the tape back and see if Ralph said Lavelle Edwards. Now, he teased me relentlessly on the
Lavelle Jordan. I probably did say Lavelle Edwards.
I would refer to BYU as Brigham Young. And Ralph would say, Jesus, Rob, you're showing how old you are, calling him Brigham Young. But the Butler head coach, and I could be wrong, I could have heard wrong, but I think if we roll back the tape, he might have turned into Lavelle Edwards coaching basketball.
He very well probably did, Rob.
Peace.
If someone's going to make a mistake, I'm sure it's me. Joe, nine best bet winners in a row for me here on the show.
Oof.
I am going with team number 306. Yes, there are some teams worse. And it is Coppin State. They're playing the quick rematch of Morgan State. Coppin State had a big lead. They led 55-41 last game. They also led 71-64, got outscored 8-1 down the finish. This is at home. Their coach reamed them. They got out-rebounded 55-38. When a team loses because of those hustle plays on rebounds and the coach reads them the riot act, much like UNLV's coach did after that Nevada loss, when they play tonight, I think Coppin State bounces back. They're plus couple. They win the game outright. I lied. They're team number 321. I said they were game number 307. So finally, it's getting closer to my range. It's way at the bottom.
Right. I was going to say that was way too high, Ralph. I was not expecting that, but I'm glad you corrected that. I'm going to stick with one of the games that we went and talked about here on the show as well. I'm back in USC here. I think that the key to this game is going to be Oscar da Silva, who is responsible for over 70% of the shots at the rim for Stanford. You're not doing that against Mobley Brothers here tonight. I think he struggles to score. I think Stanford struggles, and I think USC actually wins this one rather easily. So let's take a look at the recap here of the best bets. Ralph Michaels, game number 7306. That wouldn't surprise me either. Coppin State, +2. We're going to go Rob Vino. He's going to go Baylor, Texas, under 144.5, despite Ralph trying to talk him out of it. Tony Mejia going Marquette, laying the 3.5. I'm going USC, laying the 2. And our friends at the Gold Sheet have Auburn, laying 8.5. And a quick reminder, guys, Tony Mejia plays up and ready to rock and roll at WagerTalk.com. Rob Vino, $2 handicapper right now. His best bet in the NBA, all yours for $2 right now if you head over there. And, of course, Ralph's got his 3 packs of games in college hoops tonight, ready to go, just $10 using the code RM15 at checkout. So, Tony Mejia, he's going to stick around. We've got the NBA tip-off show coming your way here in about 15 minutes for those of you that are going to hang. Rob Vino, appreciate the time, my friend. Ralph Michaels, always. We will see you again, guys. Don't forget that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Hit subscribe. Let's keep it rolling. Let's make it a profitable night in college hoops. Come back and join us tomorrow. We'll bring it all down for you once again. Good luck with your plays, guys. Thanks for making us a part of your day.
Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Get any best bet or daily package for only $9. Every Monday is $9 Mondays.